Sarah with Busy Garden Life, and today I am going to talk about meal prep. I had posted a video a little bit ago about meal planning, which to me is totally different than meal prepping, and I started to video all my meal preps for the week and thought I need to take a step back and actually discuss with you what I am doing in the kitchen and how meal prepping makes my life so much easier. We have my husband and I have 4 kids, a dog. We live on acreage, so we do all of the country things. I own a business. We also have a building that we lease out. So when it comes to being busy, we are busy. My husband also has a full-time job. He works 24-hour shifts at times. And so I need to be able to put dinner on the table quickly for my kids on those nights where I don't have his help around the house. So in order to do that, I meal plan. I meal plan 3 months ahead of time. If you haven't seen that video yet on how I meal plan, check it out. That way you can kind of understand where I'm coming from with all of this stuff. So the next step to the meal planning and getting dinner on the table quickly every weeknight is to meal prep. I meal prep once a week. Either typically it's on Saturday, sometimes it's Sunday for Too Busy Saturday, and then every day that I'm cooking during the week, it's like a half an hour of getting that dinner on the table. So it gets super quick and easy in the busy life, and if you don't do it, you must, because it is a game changer of how much it makes your life easier. So to start off, let's talk about how I even start with meal prepping. First thing is I always get my calendar out and I make a grocery list. While I'm making a grocery list, I usually do that on Wednesday or Thursday. The reason why, typically it's Wednesday, because we don't have baseball and stuff right now, but I like to do it on Wednesday. That way I can get all of the meat out of the freezer that I need thawed before the weekend in order to prep. So we don't buy our meat from the store every week. So if you do that, then you can wait to make your grocery list till the day until the day you are going shopping. But for me, because I need it to thaw out, I need to pull it out of the refrigerator a couple days ahead of time. So on Wednesdays, I look to see what I need from the grocery store. I make my list, and then I pull the meat out of the freezer, put it in a bowl into the refrigerator so that it's thawed by the time I need it on the weekend. So I do that on Wednesday, and then I typically do my grocery shopping on Friday while the kids are in school. I carve a little bit of time out to do it then. I really don't want to have to take my 4 kids to the grocery store with me on the weekend, so I try to do it at some point in time during the week. Now, if you don't have the luxury of taking an hour out of your day one day to go grocery shopping, then I would also recommend maybe just doing pickup grocery. They have so many apps nowadays and stores where you can place your order online and just pick it up on your way home. That is another huge thing that will save you tons of time. But because my orders are typically a little bit smaller because I use a lot from our pantry and our freezer, I can just quickly run in real quickly and get my stuff. So whatever is easiest for you, but that's just a suggestion to make it easier on the weekend to meal prep because you already have everything. So looking at the menu a couple days ahead of time for the next week, get your ingredients, go shopping, and then when you do your meal prepping, that is when you are going to get all of the ingredients out. Look at your recipes for the week again to see what you need to chop up. It could be your vegetables. I typically chop my meat as well, or if it's meatballs, I always make the meatballs ahead of time. I don't cook them yet. You could cook them, but I don't cook them yet. Meatloaf, I always make the meatloaves ahead of time. Hamburgers, you can always make the patties, or we do a lot of smash burgers, so we just roll them up into balls and then I put them in the refrigerator. So things like that to make the week or the dinners during the week go by quicker. All right, so let me take a step back and talk about the setup. All right, so when I am prepping in my kitchen, now I was also fortunate enough that last year we remodeled our kitchen, and during our remodel, the one thing that I kept saying is I want it to be functional, so when I meal prep or when I'm cooking, it's easy for me. So we made an island with measuring spoons, measuring cups in one drawer. My knives are over here. I have my mixing bowls on this side. I have other cooking utensils as well, and my KitchenAid is actually in the island that comes up and plugs right in. So it's easy for me to prep. Now, I also made it so that right behind me is the sink. All right, so let me kind of show you a little bit more of my setup close up here. All right, so as I was saying, I've got these 3 drawers. This one's like all my measuring utensils and mixing stuff. And then I've got my mixing bowls and stuff under here. Over here is where we have like our knife drawer. And then just check out the messy kitchen utensils. Not everything looks all nice on the good on the inside compared to the outside, but that's just life, right? So, and then I like my kitchen my sink right behind me. I got a nice sink that has the cutting board that sits there and the strainer. So for me, I can wash the vegetables right here, and then I can go to cut them up. And then I can also cut my chicken on the cutting board after the vegetables and just keep it right in the sink. I always make sure that I have a towel next to me because I'm constantly going back and forth washing my hands. We also have our garbage here, and instead of this being our recycling, it's my compost pile, where I put all the scraps, my coffee filters, eggshells, all of that stuff. So for me, yes, like I said, I have a really good setup. I am fortunate that it makes it a lot easier. If you do not have something like that, then what I recommend is find the area in your kitchen where it is the most functional for you. The place that's going to make things easiest. An island has a lot of space, or if you have a counter that has extra space, you want that space to be able to kind of spread out and have everything. You want to be able to get to your sink pretty easily, or at least have a cutting board or a couple cutting boards that you can sit out next to your knives and your mixing bowls. So make sure you find an area in your kitchen that you can utilize to do your prep. For me, it's just always been one thing that this is my spot. I can keep it clean because everybody wants to fill your counters with something, right? But if I tend to keep my area a little bit cleaner when I'm meal prepping, and even throughout the week, because I know that's the spot that I need. All right, so I recommend you doing that. And then as you go about the meal prepping, I typically cut my vegetables first, wash them, cut those up. Again, you're just gonna look at your recipes to see what you need to chop, what needs to be chopped, what needs to be sliced, if anything at all, quartered, whatever it is, you're gonna wanna do that first. You could do, if you're doing fruit for your kids' lunches, you can wash that and put those away. You also don't even have to wash your fruit. In all honesty, if you put it in a mason jar without washing it, it does last a little longer, because let's be honest, with kids, you can buy a little bit of strawberries one week and they're gone in a day, and then next week you're like, I'm gonna buy 3 of them because they ate them so fast, and next thing you know, they're going bad. But if you put them in a mason jar covered in the refrigerator, unwashed, and then just take them out and wash them as you need it, they do last a lot longer. So that's a little tip to save money and not waste as much food as well. You're gonna wash your fruits and vegetables, kind of get that done first, and then put them in the containers that you need to go with the meals for the week. And then you can go to the meat. For the beef, the ground beef meals, if it's like a taco thing, I typically will just make the taco meat ahead of time and put it in a container, because then it saves me, even though it's quick, it saves me time to do it during the week. Or like I had mentioned earlier, I'll make hamburger patties, or I can make my little meatloaves or meatballs, things like that, to make it much easier during the week. And then the last thing I do is the chicken. I always cut the chicken last because it's just chicken, right? We don't want to contaminate anything. So I will wipe off the cutting board from the vegetables. I will get it ready, and then based on how I'm cooking my chicken. Like if it needs to be diced for chicken breedable, I will cube it up. If I'm making little, chicken breast dish, then I will, because the breasts are so big, I usually slice them in half and then do another little slice just to slice them in half lengthwise, and then another little slice to make about 3 smaller ones out of the big one. So then I get that all ready so that I don't have to worry about doing that during the week. So those are just some little tips that I have, just at least to start the meal prepping. Those are the bases of it. Now, going forward, I am going to start every week giving you my meals for the week. I typically prep about 5 meals, with 2 meals being leftovers to make things a little bit easier and to clean out the fridge. So I am going to every week post my video on my meal prep. It gives you an opportunity to get new meal ideas that you can get on the table instead of getting the same rut of having the same meals every couple weeks. It'll give you some new ideas. If you have ideas for me or something that you want to see how I can meal prep to make it easier to make during the week, pop them in the comments. That way I can add them to our menu. And then during that time, you'll also get other tips and tricks that I have with things that I do to make things a lot easier within the busy life.